What's up, you guys? Right here with another house hack. This is featuring Max. He no longer lives here anymore, but you get some insane numbers on this place. He used to house hack this place. It's a total of 6 bedrooms now. Used to be a 5-bed, but he ended up working with a contractor and actually putting another bedroom for another, $850 a month on this place. So insane returns on this. So I can't wait to have you guys hear this story. Max puts on a really good show, especially with this property in specific. So stoked to see it.
What's up, Ian? Welcome to my crib. You can see this is my first house hack that I bought in January 2020. Before that, I was living in a condo downtown Denver. Moved into this one. It's a rent by the room situation. So when I was living here, it was me and 5 other tenants. I actually built an extra bedroom. So originally it was 4, then it was 5 additional tenants. Like I said, it's got 6 bedrooms and it's got 3 bathrooms. Square footage is about 2,400 square feet. And you can see it looks relatively updated on the outside. The previous owners did a bunch of updates before I ended up moving in here. So all the stairs in the garage and a lot of the exterior, you can tell are pretty new. As we walk up to the door, you can see we've got the Ring doorbell camera, which I just like to have for security purposes. And we've also have a Wi-Fi enabled lock here, so I can open and close the door from wherever, and the tenants can put in the code. They don't have to deal with keys. Coming into the house, it's a tri-level house. You can see Cleo over there every time we walk in. And so we've got an upstairs, this main floor, which is kind of the common space with the living room and TV, kind of the tenant hangout area. And then downstairs is more bedrooms and the garage as well. We can start by coming upstairs here. We can take a look at the dining room as well as the kitchen. So the kitchen here, we've got obviously some bar stool seating here, and then granite countertop island here. Plenty of storage for tenants' goods. Everyone gets their own shelf, essentially, and their own cabinets. So there's cabinetry there's cabinetry in the island. There's more shelving in here for tenants, as well as the trash cans. These, in addition to a couple other places, I had done new shelving once I moved into the house because they're very gross and old at the time. You've got the main fridge here, and relatively updated kitchen overall. These are like custom cabinets they had put in and everything. I recently had to replace the microwave just because there were a couple times where the fuse was blowing out, and it happened 2 or 3 times. So I was like, that's enough of that. I'm just gonna have it redone. So we've got the additional smaller fridge. I picked that up because with 6 people living in the house, it was getting a little bit crowded in that main fridge. So I just wanted people to be comfortable and have enough room. So we've got 2 tenants using this fridge and then 4 using the main one over there. And it's pretty close to the kitchen and stuff, so it's not too much of a hassle to run over here. I also didn't want to get a full-size one just because it was going to take up too much space. We also have extra, obviously, storage here, so with some storage racks and the dining room table that people can choose to eat at if they so please. Take a look right off the dining room here. We've got the deck. And this is on the 2nd floor, so it overlooks both the street and the backyard. So we got some nice patio furniture, some tenants growing some plants out here. If you're lucky enough to be the tenant in the master bedroom, you get direct access to this patio over here with this sliding glass door. So that's the primary room right there. They can just walk right out whenever they want to and enjoy the beautiful views, the slightly noisy street, and then the backyard overlooking the backyard. We are in Aurora, Colorado. So this is right off of Interstate 225 and Alameda Street. So very nearby, we have access to the Aurora Mall. So there's pretty much every shop you can think of there, any kind of restaurant you would want. So it's very convenient for tenants. It's about 3 to 5 minutes down the road. That's also where the interstate is, just 3 to 5 minutes down the road. So very easy for tenants to go wherever they need to go and come back home. The street is relatively noisy out here, as you can tell. Which might be a slight deterrent, but it's also pretty convenient for tenants to be able to literally get off the main road, be right home very quickly. At night, it obviously quiets down. There's not as much traffic as there is at 5:30, whatever time it is right now, people coming home from work. We also are very convenient where we are to the medical campus, the CU Entrance Medical Campus. So I think 3 or 4 of my tenants out of the 6 either work there, study there, or do research there. So at some point I anticipate all the tenants are going to be going to that campus, and that's about 10 to 12 minutes down the road as well. Coming back into the house, I'll go ahead and show you the 3 bedrooms upstairs, and then we'll head downstairs right after that. So we've got the primary room right here. This is a large room. It's probably about 18 by 12, I want to say. It's got its own bathroom there as well. And then we have 2 more rooms right here. And this is the bathroom that those rooms share. It's the 1 tub in the house, and we also have extra storage here. These are some more of those shelves that we saw in the kitchen that I redid because they were not looking so great when I first moved in. And coming back down the hall, you can take a look at the EcoBee thermostat that I installed here. So when I first moved in, we had just a standard thermostat, and that's what I had for the first year while I was living here essentially. And then when I was going to move out, I decided it might be a good idea to monitor the temperature when I'm not here, just because I include the cost of utilities in the rent. So I'm the one that pays the utility bill, so pretty much any charge that is on that is my responsibility. So I just want to make sure that I limit the amount of money that people are spending on utilities. So this lets me monitor the air conditioning use and the heater use and stuff to make sure it's within a range it's acceptable. People aren't, pumping the AC down to 65 in the summers and stuff and putting the heat on 77 or whatever. So I would definitely highly recommend anyone get one of these for their room or for their homes. All right, so heading back down, you can see you got a nice kind of view of the living room area with the TV. Downstairs now the tri-level home. So over here is the garage right off of the downstairs right there. And you can see that we've got this 3rd fridge here just in case there's any overflow items that people might have. And I rent out each of these garage spots individually to 2 of the tenants, and they pay an additional $50 a month for that. As we come back in, we have the remaining 3 bedrooms of the house. First of all, this one right here, which kind of goes down a couple stairs, 4 or 5 stairs into the basement area, but it's also the largest room besides the primary room upstairs. So that's, I want to say, about 18 to 20 feet by 15 or so. And then this behind us, this actually used to be wide open. This was a living room when I first moved in, and I had a new wall and obviously a door built there, as well as a walk-in closet in that room as well. So this is a really nice addition that I did. It cost only about $2,500, and the rent is about $850 a month usually. So as you can see, it covers the rents, or it covers the price of the project pretty quickly after about 3 months. And after that, I'm just cash flowing the extra. So really nice addition there. Laundry room area, as well as an additional closet for more storage for tenants. So storage is really not an issue here. I encourage tenants to not bring a bunch of extra stuff, but if they have it, there's room for it. And then the final bathroom, which is shared between the 3 tenants down here. So this is a 6'3". The primary room also has its own bathroom. So this one's shared with 3 tenants. The one upstairs has 2 tenants, and then the primary room has its own. So as I mentioned, this is a rent by the room situation with 6 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. So each tenant is on their own lease here. So there's 6 individual leases I have. There's obviously pros and cons that come with that. So on the con side, I would say it's a lot more management than it would be to just rent the entire house out as a single unit. So, I'm having to make sure that there's cohesiveness in the house, right, among all the tenants, and that the common space is kept clean and all that kind of stuff. At this point, I require 12-month leases, but usually there's a lease coming up here or there at any point in the year, so it requires a little bit more management to just constantly be looking for tenants to fill the spot. But on the flip side, obviously the pros are the cash flow, right? Like this house might rent out for $3,000 a month if I'm lucky, and I'm getting $5,500, a little bit over that, doing the rent by the room situation. While it's a little bit more management, it maximizes the utility of the house to its best ability to cash flow. So to me, that's worth it. And having lived here already, I really understand the dynamics of the house. Not actually that much more work. It's maybe a couple hours a month at most, more work. And I get almost $2,500 more in cash flow per month. So to me, that's very, very worth it. And I plan on continuing to do that for a long time. So there's 6 tenants that live in this house, so how do they all get here, right? My best resource for that personally has been roomies.com. I've also used Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, and I've tried an app called Roomster. For me personally, I'm sure other people have more success with other things, but roomies.com has by far been the most successful platform I've used to find tenants. I found that they tend to be pretty responsible. They tend to respond very well, especially compared with stuff like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, where you're just throwing messages out there. For me, I've had the best response rate and the best quality of tenant I found through reviews.com. After I do the tour and stuff, I have them apply for the room and stuff like that to make sure they fit all the requirements that I have, like income and stuff, and credit score and all those sorts of things, background checks. So I also use a software called Tenant Cloud, which is my property management software. So that kind of is a one-stop shop for everything from receiving applications from the tenant when they're applying to see if they're going to be a good fit, to actually looking at the lease and signing the lease. All that is contained on there. There's no physical copies of the lease, it's all online. And then it's also where I actually manage, it gives me an online website that I can share with people where they can just click on the room they want and they can apply to that room directly. So it's all through Tenant Cloud. And that's also where they pay rents. Everything is through Tenant Cloud on that too. So this house, like I said, I bought it in January of 2021. So it's been about 1.5 years now that I've owned it. The original purchase price was $489,000. At the time, the rates were insane, so I got a 2.625 rates, which means that my mortgage is only about $2,250 per month. Total, the rents for that, including the garage rents, are $5,525. So you see the spread there is about, $3,000, but I pay the utilities on that as well. So pretty much after all expenses, utilities, I factor in vacancy, CapEx, maintenance, all that stuff. The pure cash flow after all that is about $2,250. I get about, I pay probably $600 per month in the utilities and stuff, and then I put away about $500 or so in reserves just for future expenses that I might have. I would definitely highly recommend anyone get into house hacking. I originally started when I was paying $2,300 a month in a mortgage for a condo. That quickly flipped to being $900 a month in cash flow. So that was a huge difference for me in my personal finances, and it set me up for my long-term goals in the future. So if you're gonna go the house hacking route, which obviously I highly recommend, you probably wanna find yourself an investor-friendly agent. So the FI team is obviously really good with that. That's who I've gone through. My girlfriend, Ashley, she's a FI team agent. Ian, who's filming this for us right now, he is also a member of the FI team, but really any investor-friendly agent, but especially if you're in Denver, those people on the house or on the FI team, they are the ones to go with because they know the ins and outs of house hacking from start to finish. They'll talk you through the entire process, tell you what a good property looks like, what you might consider. They'll help you out with leases, with contractors, anything you might need, they're gonna be able to hook you up with that.